Hello, 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 hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a little dose of reality.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your host, Steve Molloy, and I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. I see Todd's in the house. Thanks for joining, Todd, and everybody else that might be on other platforms, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, wherever we may be found. Real Talk, Fins Talk, whatever platform that might be. Come over here, join the community, YouTube channel, hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that bell down there. Share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. Well, I hope everybody is doing great tonight. We had a kind of a busy week for the Miami Dolphins. We made a couple trades. We made one big trade, and we brought somebody out of retirement. So let's talk about that a little bit. But before I get started, I want to make sure put a disclaimer out there. These are all my opinions and takes, the way I feel, my honest opinions, guys. I don't have a crystal ball that I can look into and I can, see the future for the Miami Dolphins and how they're going to turn out, right? I don't know. Nobody knows. To be honest, we're all making assumptions and giving our opinions and things like that, whether it be the data we've been researching or film or whatever it may be. Okay. We don't know. We really don't. And I want to read something that Louis Riddick. I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with who Louis Riddick is. Um, he made a statement on X, and he said, and I agree with it. This is basically the same way that I feel. Okay, this is what Louis Riddick's statement said. The Dolphins are the very definition of uncertainty going in 2025. Have zero idea what this team will look like, play like, come together like, chemistry wise. Zero. That's exactly how I feel, ladies and gentlemen. We are uncertain. We don't know what this Miami Dolphins team is going to be like going in 2025. And that's why I put that disclaimer out there. I can only give you my opinion, my takes, how I feel. And I'm going to tell you how I feel from the bottom of my heart. I never BS you guys, good or bad or ugly. I'm always going to give you my opinion, the way I feel, the way I see it. Some folks don't like it. That's fine. That's fine. All right. It kind of be boring life if we all had the same opinions and we agreed with each other, right? So there's going to be disagreements, and I respect all disagreement. Okay. Not everybody's going to agree with me. I don't agree with everybody. So anyway, let's get on with the show here. All right. So my opinion, my takes on let's start with the Jalen Ramsey and the Jonnu Smith trade. Okay. Got to give Chris Greer his kudos. All right. Got to do it. I thought he did the right thing. He made the right decision, the right choice of trading Jalen Ramsey to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jalen Ramsey was turning out to be a cancer for this Miami Dolphins organization. He went and Pittsburgh Steelers took all of his salary. So that money's off our books. Pittsburgh Steelers took his salary. His contract up, right? That's a good thing. Plus, I think he got like a $1 or $2 million raise with Pittsburgh. So I'm sure he's happy. He's out of here. He didn't like what he was seeing over here in Miami. Or should I say down in South Florida in Miami. He didn't like what he was seeing. He and Mike McDaniel didn't get along. So we don't need that on that team. And we still have some others on the team that I believe, in my opinion, that should be off this team. And I think all of you know who I'm talking about. Tyreek Hill. So I give Chris Greer his flowers for the good. Hey Finn Sammy, how you doing, brother? Thanks for joining, man. I give him his flowers for that trade. Okay, and we got some compensation, right? We got back. Was it a 5th round or 7th round? I get it all mixed up. Maybe you can help me in chat. We got back. I think it was a 5th round for Jalen Ramsey, and we also traded Jono Smith down there to Pittsburgh as well. So Jono Smith wasn't happy with the monies that he was making in Miami. Let's make that clear. Okay? And Miami wasn't going to pay him the money that he wanted. Okay? We've all been talking about this for a month, right? Almost. And he was making, I think, $3-4 million, and now he's making $12 million in Pittsburgh. So guess what? He's happy. He's happy as a lark now. Okay? He's got his money, and if he does well down there with Aaron Rodgers, I know some folks believe Aaron Rodgers is washed up. Yeah, he's not playing at the height that he was playing, when he was with Green Bay, right? 4 years ago or so, 3-4 years ago. But he's still a good quarterback. Is he elite anymore? Probably not. But he's good. So if you don't think that Aaron Rodgers is going to make the Pittsburgh Steelers better offensively with the weapons he has in DK Metcalf and Robert Woods and now Jono Smith, I mean, I think he is, at least. Now, are they going to be a playoff team? I mean, a Super Bowl contending team? I don't know. I don't think so. I think they'll be that's a rough division they're in. Okay, they're in a really rough division. It's tough. So maybe wild card. Maybe they make a playoff run. I don't know. But I definitely think that Aaron Rodgers will help that team out. And so will Jono, I think. Will he have the year that he had here in Miami? Probably not. I don't think he's going to be utilized as much as he was here in Miami. Now, don't forget, we used Jono Smith a lot last year. Why? Because Tyreek wasn't up to par. He was injured, right? Now, I'm not making excuses for Tyreek, but he was injured and he had wrist injury, right? So that affects his catching ability. So maybe they were thinking about that. Maybe Mike McDaniel said, "You know what? We gotta give him the least amount of balls this year because we don't want to, put him totally out of the lineup, right? On injured reserve. At least we can, throw him a ball here or there and be used as a decoy, right? So." That's the reason why Jono Smith, he took a lot of them passes, those targets, from Tua that Tyreek would have taken, and Waddle too. Okay. HN, he was a big bulk of the receiving end of the football too. Why? Because those two guys, for some odd and unknown reason, Tua Tagovailoa couldn't get the ball to those guys last year. And I have a theory. I think I know why. Because the defenses were forcing him to throw outside the numbers and in the middle of the field. They were taking away to the middle of the the intermediate in the middle of the field, and Tua can't throw outside the numbers. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't done it. Yes, every NFL quarterback has thrown outside the numbers. Okay, but he's not consistent with it. That's not his forte. And defenses know that. Defensive coordinators know that. Ever since that Denver Broncos game, defenses have switched up on us on this offense. All right. Remember Quinn from the Baltimore Ravens said the Dolphins have a tell? That could be one of the tells right there. He can't throw outside the numbers, and he was always going to try to throw down, down the middle, right? That intermediate area. They take it away from him. And they put the linebackers, 5-6 yards behind the defensive line, right? And they play that cover too. But anyway, so I think that Jalen Ramsey got what he wanted, and I think that Jonnu Smith got what he wanted. So I think they're happy. And we got what we wanted, right? To a degree. I mean, we got Jalen Ramsey out of here. He didn't want to be here. Why have a player on a team that doesn't want to be here? Okay? And Jonnu Smith wanted more money. We weren't going to pay him. Why keep him on the team? Make him play. When we're not going to pay him, and he has a risk of injury, or let's say he has a down season, right? It's going to be very hard for him to do the same thing he did last year. I mean, that was a historical season for the Miami Dolphins and Jonnu Smith. So he's happy. He got his $12 million, and he's got an opportunity that if he does well in Pittsburgh, they might pay him more money. Now, we got Mika Fitzpatrick. I feel that was a good exchange, okay? Is Mika Fitzpatrick going to move the needle for the Miami Dolphins? Is that going to move the needle for the Miami Dolphins? And when I mean move the needle, is that going to make him a playoff contender? Is that going to make him a Super Bowl contender now because of Mika Fitzpatrick in as a safety? Remember, Mika Fitzpatrick didn't want to be here at one time. He wanted out, and they let him out. Why? Because he didn't like the way Brian Flores was positioning him in the defense. Moving him around, playing cornerback. Things of that nature. But guess what? They got him out of here. Okay? In Pittsburgh, they utilize him the same way that Brian Flores was going to utilize him here in Miami. At least last year. And why did they do that last year, Pittsburgh? Why? Because their cornerbacks weren't very good last year. He was taking up the slack for them. They had him down in the box. They had him playing cornerback. They had him playing free safety. They had him moving all around the field. That's not his forte. And his performance shows that on tape and statistic-wise on PFF grades. Again, PFF is not the gospel, but it's the only thing we have. It's a good gauge of someone's performance, right? If you go watch the film or watch the game, and then you put together a PFF, right? Got to put everything in context now, right? Okay. PFF is pretty accurate as far as someone's production is concerned. It's pretty damn accurate, in my opinion. Not the gospel, but it's pretty accurate. All right, so we bring Mika Fitzpatrick here. No, I don't believe he's going to move the needle. Is he going to play solid? Yeah, I think he'll be a solid safety for us. Is he better than what we had last year? I think so. Sure. I think he was a little bit better than Jafon Holland. Definitely a lot better than Poyer, right? So now we have Ashton Davis and Milifanu. right, that we acquired from Detroit as safeties. Okay. I think they're going to be rotating our safeties in and out. They're going to be utilizing their skills. Melifonwu is good in the box. He's good in the run game. And so is Mika Fitzpatrick. Ashton Davis, I think I think he'll be okay back there. But again, we don't really know, right? We don't have any evidence how these guys are going to perform. First time playing together. Chemistry is a big deal. I had a podcast about chemistry, about the secret sauce of the Miami Dolphins. What was it or what is it? Chemistry is number one or one of them. And these guys have never played before. Is there going to be a lack of communication back there? Is he going to is Mika Fitzpatrick, is he going to have to take up the slack for cornerbacks? Because who's going to play? Who's starting cornerback on our team right now? From all the reports I've gotten from minicamp through some of our beat writers that watched minicamp and things of that nature, nobody's really stuck out in the cornerback position. Hell, even in the safety position. Now we got Mika. We'll see when training camp starts. That'd be someone that we need to watch, right? Well, we got to watch everyone, but it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize him in the Weaver defense. So, again, it's a question mark, a big question mark on the defense in the backfield. Even though we got Mika Fitzpatrick, I don't think he moves the needle. Will he play solid back there, as I said? Yes, probably. He's better than what we had last year. Okay. All right. Now we acquired, pulled him out of retirement, Darren Waller, tight end, big tight end, tall. I think he's 6'6", but he's 238. Really, he started off in the NFL as a wide receiver, and they converted him to a tight end. Now, who do we have as tight ends on our roster? Who's going to be the starter? Well, I think Julian Hill will probably be in the rotation. Okay, I think for sure Brown, right, that we acquired from Tennessee, right? I think he's going to be he's a good blocking tight end, but he's not a pass catching tight end. Either is Julian Hill, but Waller's going to play that pass catching tight end role. Maybe even Tanner Connor, right? And I know we got Cowers, I guess it was, from Texas, undrafted tight end, and Handon Reetsy. He was on the practice squad last year. That's what we got is tight ends. Okay. In my opinion, I don't think we should have gone out and got Darren Waller. We had enough tight ends on the roster. Are we going to utilize the tight ends again like we did last year? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think we're going to go more to that 11 personnel. 3 wide receivers, tight end, and the back. And of course, the quarterback. That's what I think we're going to be doing more this year. Hell, Darren Waller was retired, right? And the last 3 years of his NFL career, he was injured a lot. There were 2 years in a row there, his last 2 years in a row, the 22 and 23. He only played 11 games. And I think he only had 1 or 2 good seasons out of the 8 seasons that he's played where he's played full 17 games. So he has an injury history, and he had a scare. He had a health scare too. One of the reasons why he retired, he had a health scare. He almost died, supposedly, right? And that he started thinking about maybe retirement. And he did. And he said he just didn't have that passion and love for the game. Now, all of a sudden, he's got the love and passion for the game again. Hell, he may quit during training camp. He may be out there in that hot Florida sun, 110 degrees, with 95% humidity, and say, oh, man, I ain't doing this anymore. This is terrible. No, I can't take this. He may retire again. Hey, remember Shaq Barrett? Remember OBJ? Everybody was all hyped on them when we brought him in. Oh, boy, we got OBJ. He's going to be a great third option for Tua or whoever our quarterback is, because we don't know how long Tua's going to last, if he's going to play full 17 games. And what happened? He was hurt most of the year. And then Shaq Barrett retired during training camp. So in my opinion, guys, don't get too excited about Darren Waller. Number one, he's been out. His last really good year was like 2018, 2019. He's injury prone. Again, he just came off retirement, right? He may not even make the 53 with the tighter end room we have right now. Younger, more durable. He may not even make the team because we didn't pay him a lot. I know they say $5 million, but it's up to $5 million. There's some incentives in there. There's some things he has to do, playing time and, staying healthy, things of that nature. I'm pretty sure there's going to be those clauses in his contract. Or if you decide to retire again. I mean, I hope they've learned their lesson through Shaq Barrett and OBGA. So we'll see. We'll see, right? As Louis Riddick said, the definition of uncertainty is the Miami Dolphins football team. There is no certainty with this team this year. Look, I'm not saying all that to say that I don't hope the Miami Dolphins don't make the playoffs. I want them to tank, like some folks want and all that. It might be a good thing if they do, but not intentionally, right? I want to see a regime change. I really do. But I'm afraid that's not going to happen. The Miami Dolphins are going to have to go like 0-17, I think. Maybe not that severe, but they're going to have to lose a quite amount of games before they change this organization around in what they call a full rebuild, right? I think they're doing a reset, but I mean a full rebuild, like getting rid of everybody. Greer, McDaniel, Tua, and some of the other veterans that we might have on this team. Okay? But if anybody goes next year, or even maybe during the course of the year, in the middle of the year or whatnot, it's going to be Mike McDaniel. I don't think it's going to be Chris Greer. That's just my opinion. So, but we'll see on that front. There's something else I wanted to talk about too, and that is Zack Sieler. TD Fins Talk brought this up on his show the other day. It's something I didn't think about. And he makes a good point. And I tend to agree. What is Zack Sieler going to do? Or what is the Miami Dolphins going to do with Zack Sieler? Because that right there is what I'm really watching. If Miami Dolphins pay Zack Sieler and they extend him, then maybe Miami Dolphins might feel we got a chance to win this year. We want to make a run for the playoffs. Although I always expect my team to make the Super Bowl. Of course, not this year, but the Miami Dolphins might be giving the fans the hopium, right? That shot in the arm of, oh, we can make the playoffs. So keep a watchful eye on the Zack Sieler situation, because I know in minicamp he missed some time, or he was there but he wasn't really participating. Okay, if they pay him, then they might feel they still have a chance to make the playoffs, right? Or at least give the impression, to the fans that you know they're going to make a run for it, right? If they don't pay him and they trade him, because that could possibly happen, guys, I would not be shocked. Then we know their true feelings then, right? Then we can all agree that Miami's going through a rebuild, the Dolphins. All right, at least a soft rebuild. And they're going to run it with what they have this year and see what happens next year. Or see what happens this year and say, "Hey, Mike, sorry buddy. We're not getting any big names for you. We're not making any big splashes, man. It is what it is. You got the team. Here it is. Make something out of it." That's the test for Mike McDaniel this year. Because, that's what it looks like. To me, that's what it looks like. Somebody has put the brakes on that credit card. That's just my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think Miami's a playoff caliber team this year? With I've heard a couple podcasters that aren't even Miami Dolphins podcasters. I just happened to run across a couple of them, and wasn't really looking. I was just going through some podcasts and stuff. Dolphins podcasters. See who was on, who wasn't, and all that kind of stuff. And I ran across a couple that were from. I'm not sure who this guy's team was, but he was talking now we're talking about somebody being objective from the outside looking in. All right. Not a Dolphin fan. I know he wasn't a Dolphin fan because he was running down the Buffalo Bills, the New England Patriots, other teams, in the AFC East and all that. And when he came to the Dolphins, all right, he kind of had the same thought process as Louis Riddick. It's a lot of uncertainty. Okay, a lot of uncertainty on the Miami Dolphins football team this year. Think about it. We lost a lot of folks. We lost a lot of players. Have you all really thought about who we lost? Okay. Let's just go through that real quick. Okay. Javon Holland, Poyer. Javon Holland he was disappointment for me anyway. He didn't live up to his potential, right? And he really didn't want to be here, and he wanted more money, and the Giants paid him. We weren't going to pay him, so we let him go, right? Poyer didn't play well for us last year. He's taken a way big step back, right? Big step way back. We lost those two. Anthony Walker. Okay. He's a rotational player, but he's no longer with us. Okay. Emmanuel Ogba. Forgot about him. And the biggest one of all, Calais Campbell. And Kendall Fuller. Remember Kendall Fuller, the cornerback? So we lost both our starting cornerbacks. Kendall Fuller, Jalen Ramsey. Not saying Jalen Ramsey was playing all pro level, because he wasn't. Not saying Kendall Fuller was playing all pro level, because he wasn't. but he was solid and he was a veteran. Okay, and I might be forgetting a couple people. Oh, Deshaun Hand, solid rotational player, gone. Gone. Who do we replace him with? Well, we did bring in Willie Gay, KJ Brett. I might be forgetting one. Everybody's been saying, "Oh, we got a better linebacking core we've ever had." I don't think so, man. I really don't. Now, Jordan Brooks, yes, he's a dog. I like Jordan Brooks. I think he was a great addition. Good pickup by Greer. Good free agent pickup, right? But he can't do it all. Now, is Willie Gay? He had some good games with Kansas City, right? Um, I take that back. We might have a little bit of an edge on the linebacker room we've had in a while. Just a little edge. Not much though. Oh, I forgot about Terrell Dotson. He had a couple good games. Okay, but he's not a starter, he's a rotational player. Our starters are Jordan Brooks, and then whoever wins that battle between KJ Britt and Willie Gay and Dotson. That battle right there. Then cornerbacks, who the hell knows? Cam Smith. If Cam Smith is our cornerback and we got Storm Duck as the other cornerback as our starters, then we might need some help from Mika Fitzpatrick with those guys. Then we're back to where we started again. So Anthony Weaver has a big challenge on his hand this year. He does. He's got a big challenge on his hands. Now, we brought in Kenneth Grant, that draft pick. I like the draft pick, but again, no evidence, right? Uncertainty there in that defensive tackle spot. We don't know what he's going to do. Okay. He looks like he has the potential. We wouldn't have brought him in. And then we got Jordan Phillips. Okay. We don't know how he's going to do. Zick Biggers. We don't know how he's going to do. We've got 5 or 6 defensive tackles, and they're all not going to make it. That's another thing. We have a lot of folks in this fan base, right? I'm not saying you all, but some folks in the fan base, every time we bring somebody, oh my God, we brought him in. He's going to make it. He's going to be a big impact and all this kind of stuff. Like Anthony Washington. No, what is it? Is it Anthony Washington, the big receiver, undrafted? Do you realize how many wide receivers we have on this roster and who the starters are? I can tell you 4 right now. Who's going to be in who's going to be on the 53-man roster right now? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, Westbrook. That's 4. What are we going to go with 6, 7, 8 wide receivers? Come on now. Tight end group, who do we have? What is his name? Pharaoh Brown, Julian Hill, and now we brought in Waller, and we got Hayden Reetsey, Coyers. Forgive me for I don't know his first name. Cowers, and then we've got the other one, the 6th one, Tanner Connor. 6. We're not keeping all 6. Not all 6 are going to be on the roster. Everybody thinks that everybody we have on the roster, they're going to make the team. They're going to be starters. It's a 53-man roster, not a 90-man roster. That's how many we have right now, 90. That's almost half will be cut. Don't make no sense sometimes the way some Dolphins think. Now, I like Chop Robinson on defense. I forgot to mention him. and Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. But then again, there's uncertainty with those two. With Bradley Chubb and uh, Phillips coming off injuries. Phillips twice, right? 2 injuries in 2 years. Bradley Chubb, he's got an injury history. He's older now. That's got to take a toll on his body. I mean, he's not old over the hill like Calais Campbell, but he's in his 28, 29, getting there. But his body probably is beat up like a 40, 50-year-old or more, right? With those injuries he's had, the knee injuries and others injuries that he's had with Denver and all that before he came to Miami. And I forgot who he played before then, right? So we'll see. We'll see. I really feel it's going to be a challenge for this defense and Anthony Weaver this year. We'll see the first few games of the season, the first 3 or 4 games of the season. We'll kind of get a feel for what direction this defense is going, I think, anyway. By that time, we should know. Okay? But going back to the offense, and I don't want to jump around too much, but yeah, so those are the wide receivers, the 4 that I mentioned, right? Westbrook, Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Malik Washington. That's 4. Okay? I mean, who's going to get the bulk of the passes, right? The targets. Tyreek and Waddle. So where does that leave Malik Washington and Westbrook? And if you want to throw Waller in there, go ahead. If he makes the team even. Oh, let's not forget Achane. Achane had a bunch of passes thrown his way last year as well. Okay? I like Achane. But here's another thing. I'm hearing, oh, we got to he's our number 1 running back. Give him, a bunch of carries and blah, 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 and passes. He's a little guy. He's only 5'8". I think he gained like 10 pounds or something. He's maybe 195 right now, if that. But, maybe he's gotten a little stronger, hopefully. I'm sure he has since he's been in the NFL, second year now? Second? Be going on his 3rd year now. Wow, time flies. So, yeah, I'm sure he's gotten a little stronger or whatnot, but you can't give him the ball 20 times a game. You can't do it. I mean, you can, but is he durable enough to have over 300 and something carries during a 17-game season? And another, maybe another 50, 60 passes he catches? That's a lot of wear and tear on a little guy like that. Remember, his first couple years, I mean, he had a concussion last year, and the year before that, his rookie year, he hurt his knee. Now, we got Ollie Gordon, another one, uncertain. Does he have potential? Yeah, we wouldn't have brought him in. I like his height. I like his weight. I don't like his running style. But and Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright has got to take a lot of the slack this year, in my opinion. Okay? They need to get him in there. In fact, all the rookies that we drafted that make the team, right? They need to start, or at least be in there in a rotational piece, right? They got to be in a rotational piece. How else are we going to know what these guys can do, right? I think we did Jalen Wright a disservice last year by not letting him play. And I understand why they took him out of the game. He's not a very good pass blocker. And we were doing a lot of those quick screens, right? I understand. But he's bulked up this year. He's gained some weight. I expect a lot from him this year. I want to see him getting, 10, 12 touches a game. Maybe Achan get another, 8, 10 touches at the most. Ollie Gordon, maybe he gets another 2 or 3, catches. Not catches. You know, uh, carries. 3 or 4 carries a game. You gotta see where these guys do. Because in my opinion, as I said, we're not a playoff contention team this year. We're not. I know we want to be. I know fans want us to be, but we're not. I'm just giving you a dose of reality, ladies and gentlemen. I'm giving you a dose of reality. I'm going to give you a dose of reality now. So when the season starts and preseason starts, we're not expecting the Miami Dolphins to make the playoffs or go to the Super Bowl. It's not happening, in my opinion. If it does, I would be the happiest man in the world for our team because that's what I want. Hopefully they change my mind on how I feel, but they've got to prove it on the field. And all this talk about culture change and all this crap that they're talking, prove it. Proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding. Show me. Like Tua said, show me the money. Well, they showed him the money, but he didn't produce. You realize he was 6-5 last year, right? 6-5. We're paying this man over 200. We gave him a contract for over $200 million, and he was 6-5, and he missed 6 games. Right when he said, "I'm gonna show me the money," that same year, last year, he missed 6 games and had a 6-5 record. You know what our backups records were? Tyler Huntley was 2-3. Skylar Thompson, of course, was 0-1. 2-3. Backup quarterback that we pulled off the practice squad, Baltimore's practice squad, was 2-3. And then everybody's talking about, oh man, we need a backup. Sure. What do you expect the backup to what did you expect him to be? What did you expect his record to be after 6 games? 6-0? Tua was 6-5. Tua was 6-5. And now you expect our backup quarterback to be, well, he played 5 games. 5-0? He was 2-3. 2-3, 6-5. Just over 500 for Tua. Just under 500 for Tyler Huntley. Now I know we got Zach Wilson and Gwen Ewers. Haven't heard much as late on those two. Again, it's going to be a wait and see with them two, right? And but I hate to say it, but we're probably going to get to see them play this year. At least one of them, maybe Quinn or Zach Wilson, right? More likely it's Zach Wilson. He's making the most money, but Quinn Ewers has got to really have a tremendous training camp and preseason in order to. He's got to really show out in order to take that spot from Zach Wilson, is what I'm saying. He really does. And I don't think it's going to happen. But you never know. You never know. I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight in the chat. I appreciate y'all. I really do. I really do. I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't do this show without you all, and I appreciate all your comments and stuff and everything. I see Daniel Meechin is in here. Hey, brother, how are you? Frozen Fin Fan, my man Frozen Fin Fan is in here. Make sure you check his YouTube channel out, Frozen Fin Fan. He's got a really good YouTube channel. And you got 305 Sports Now. You got Will is in here. Appreciate you joining. He's got a really good show. He basically focuses on college, Miami Hurricanes. I think that's right. Isn't that right, Will? Mostly that's your focus. And then we got Finn Sammy, Finn's TV. I know he was saying his channel is under construction right now. So they'll be putting out some great content too in up and coming weeks here, I'm sure. So make sure you check them out as well. Yeah. That I thought so, Will. Thank you for joining, brother. And I really appreciate Daniel coming in here. I haven't seen him for a while. I missed him. And we got somebody important. Oh, okay. I don't know who that is, but they must be important. So I appreciate you joining somebody important. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button and also share with your friends, your families, your neighbor. Once you hit that bell down there to subscribe if you're new, I appreciate that, man. But yeah, man, I just wanted to come on here tonight, and I wanted to talk about the trades, the big trade we had, and then the pickup of Daniel or what is it, Waller, Donald Waller, and everything, or Whaler, however you pronounce his name. And just give my opinion. Like I said, I put that disclaimer out there because I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. Don't just my opinions. And the way I feel. I'm just being honest. I'm talking from the heart right now. And I don't have big expectations for Miami. My only expectation is that that the rookies that we acquired, the ones that make the roster, that they play well, that they get an opportunity and they show out and they show what they can do. See if what other moves we need to make next year if this year doesn't turn out the way that a lot of fans are expecting. I'm not, but hopefully I just want to see those guys, participate, contribute, and shine a little bit. Then we know we're on the right path, going in the right direction. And keep an eye out for Zack Sieler, okay? Because that's going to indicate a lot, I think, in my opinion. I agree with TD Finn's talk on that. So keep an eye out on Zack Sieler. Let's see what Waller does. And Mika Fitzpatrick, the guys that we acquired in the trade, and then Waller, of course, we got out of retirement. We'll see where we go from here, and what Miami does with those guys, and what those guys can do for Miami, right? I mean, sometimes you acquire guys in free agency, or and they don't really pan out, So we'll see. I'm hoping they do. So I appreciate y'all for joining me tonight, and and till next time. And remember, Dolphins #1, baby. Dolphins #1.